All right, so let's do a little bit more. So I'm going to bring in this guy right here, a little bomb explosion. Drop it in. Same as it ever was. Key that out. Cool. Now let's position it. Shrink it down. Hold down Shift. Let's pull this back so it doesn't start quite as fast. All right, let's take this bomb and I'm going to pre-compose it by itself. Call it first explosion. So when I double click on it, here it is here. Now let's do a few things. So I'm going to duplicate it. And then I'm going to go to, on the top layer, let's call the top layer, if I just select it, press enter, explosion highlights. So on this layer, let's go in and I'm just going to go to where it says color correction. And let's do, you know what? Let's do curves. Let's try that. So these are the lines. This is RGB. I'm affecting all of them simultaneously. So this is a curve that is basically saying how bright or how dark this is. Okay. Now if I select like RGB, it affects the whole thing. But if I go in and just select red, you notice I can pull the red out. I don't want to lose the contrast. I just want to tint it red and kind of play with that like that. Go to blue. You see when I pull that down, I can make it a little bit more orangey. Now the sun and stuff is in the background. So what I'm going to do is let's just let's use our pen tool. And how big is the explosion? About that big. So I want to make sure, kind of get this side here more than anything else. Now, of course, let me hide that. That's way extreme. So that's where we go into the mask. And we basically feather it so that it blends with that side more. See? I can always go in and kind of modify this that maybe it's a little too much or too little in certain areas and have a little more control over it. I can even adjust the opacity of it, see, for intensity. Now we go back to our original comp. I might tweak it out a little bit more so it's more on the a little bit more inward here. And if I want to do that, once again, I just double click, pull these guys in a little bit more. Hold down Alt, and then I can pull with left mouse button, pull these handles out, these Bezier curves, and start to kind of shape it a little bit more. There we go. And I can even, if I wanted to, change its blending mode. So just so you can see how, depending on what you're doing, how you can affect uh, these guys. Lighten, darken, screen. And you might run across some very interesting things. Now, it should also be known that I can also do this, and it's good to see it where there's fire because some of these will get rid of the brightness of that fire. So you notice that depending on which one that I choose, ooh, that's kind of neat. Almost looks like water. Do something with that. So, but this gives you an idea, you know, as well as I could actually go in back into that one and then just crank up something like the exposure to brighten up some of those areas. And once again, I could go into individual channels and intensify them if I wanted to. So now you can really see that, see? You customize it based on how you want it. And once you actually have it, then you could just take that, duplicate it. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to move its pivot point down to the base so that when I actually scale it, it's just going to be like that. And that doesn't look right. So what we want to do, we'd either want to change the blending mode of this to see which one, that wouldn't work. Maybe if we overlay it something like that and then adjust the opacity down a little bit. Make a little reflection across there. Lighten that up even more. And you might even want to do a directional blur. It's really going to be up to you. Why would I do that is if I increase it, oh, there we go, not that, the blur length, but then rotate it. I can kind of spread it sideways. Mess around with it. Find your happy medium or what effect you'd want to have for it. And it's literally just a matter of going in and adding things in. So we could see duplicate this one. That. And you get the idea. And now you're getting the idea. So, lots to play with. Have some fun.